I often dislike city builders, or at least find some aspect of them that doesn't work for me, yet to my surprise, the Farthest Frontier is really clicking. You see, it's not that I have a complete distaste for city builders, I've always been city builder curious, even when they don't work out for me. And so I've played the first 5 to 20 hours of many of them, enjoying them up to a point, but then either my creativity or the systems of the game fail me. I cannot think of what to do next or figure out which of my many personal inadequacies in planning the game is highlighting, not knowing if I'm meant to be directing traffic better, if I forgot a particular building, or just feel boxed in by some linear progression in front of me, ending up tuning a finely balanced machine in the exact same way as everyone else, a long line of interacting systems that by necessity require building exactly as the developer planned. It leaves you with a feeling of a lack of creativity when it comes to construction. Not always necessarily true to the genre, but it's often the sense I get, especially when paired with the analysis paralysis of what to do next. Then comes along the Farthest Frontier. It's one of these survival city builder types, starting destitute and ending up trying to live out a medieval version of freedom. The game is explicitly about people being fed up of their rich landowners, taking the same tax even though there's a famine, tucked away in their castles whilst leaving the outskirts to be plundered by raiders. Your people choose to leave and try and create something out of it, something that they own, have an equal say in, and has endeared me to helping these little people make their own paradise. So why did it work? In my 4 or so initial towns, yes, I have chronic restart issues. I don't think any of them have followed the same path. Yes, we will be getting those starter huts. We're not monsters, and these villagers need shelter from their first winter. Yes, that hunter cabin and forager hut will be placed for early food. But I'm not really talking about the first half hour. Instead, after the essentials have been considered, that's when the game offers choice. So, once you have the real basics down and you're expanding your town, you're given all these different diversions, different technological advancements, that all mean you have a wide array of options. None really proving to be the absolute best, instead a series of things you can tweak and make choices with. Even the first tier of the technological advancement system, this tech tree that as you progress through by meeting tougher and tougher requirements in your town centre, gives you a wide array of different buildings and different paths you can go down, even if it does require you to get more rare materials and keeping your people even happier. But how you get there along this path is a series of interesting decisions. Is there water so I can get lucrative fishing on the go? Hunting will bring me access to pelts, tallow and meat, all important early game materials. Can I get my little side project of basket making on the go to increase the carrying efficiency of my villagers, making the whole town run more smoothly? Many of these choices will also be influenced by the map you're on, the geography of where you are. There will be choices of what you can do. But you're not forced down one singular path in this, instead maximising each option, allowing you to decide what is best. And this only increases as your population gets bigger and you have access to more people. It means you can do more things, make more of these choices. It really reminds me of a Paradox game in that way. No single system is overly complicated, but when you're trying to step back and see the whole machine operating, it is expansive, interweaving and complex. This sort of design, especially with how this game is tuned, means that an incorrect decision hurts, but can be corrected. You have the space to tweak it and see what happens. This brings some elasticity to the failure state. I'm not about to bring imminent collapse to my entire village because of an error, but I should correct it pretty quickly. My villagers can wait a bit of time if they need that new pair of shoes, but if I leave it forever, they'll start to carry disease. Not figuring out exactly how to feed my cows during winter because I didn't have enough root vegetables available was a lesson to be learned. The cows didn't die, but they were unhealthy for a year. It really helps avoid some of that more rote linear type design that you sometimes get in this type of game. I always felt in games like Anno that there was a specific path that needed to be followed, and deviation would mean failure. Now I've got a lot better with failure in games, so this might be a symptom of that. I'm much more likely to try and progress through something going wrong and see it as an interesting story, rather than have something fail and instantly want to restart. He says with 4 restarts on villagers, but that was more layout type things. And this is all paired with fantastic aesthetics in the town. It all evolves out of these little wooden shelters to more substantial buildings and amenities. The seasons have just been done right, the passing to autumn and seeing geese fly overhead, trees losing their leaves, but at different times depending on the species. It all has done a lot to create a holistic look at a European space for a village. Building and watching your little town flourish into a gorgeous place has to be one of the best aspects of this game. It has this sense of a model village being created in front of you, with the ability to tweak and perfect as you go along. I think City Skylines is the only other game where I spent significant amounts of time zooming in and traversing the streets with my camera, following people around their day-to-day routines, drinking in the vibrant life of the place. I am the sort of person that thinks there's something to be sceptical about in the romanticisation of the medieval dream. I think people put a lot on that ideal without any realisation of the actuality of it. People during medieval times were weird, had strange beliefs and practices that were complex and developed. And this is something that RimWorld ends up doing so well in comparison. Each of those cardboard cutouts on the screen that are your people have these deep personalities that expand off the screen. Each person in Farthest Frontier is just essentially another citizen with a number. You look, there's Citizen 54. He hunts, has kids, but nothing more to him. No sense of if he prefers the theatre over the pub, instead just a job and a piece in the system. Now, I know that the population count means that this will be harder to do, but when the story is about people trying to leave and create a life, I'd want to see some of the inner workings of those lives and of the actual politics of the place, and how those politics differ from the feudal system that they came from, the one that they hated so much that they wanted to go through this incredible trial in the hopes of creating something better. But this is where it's important to say that this game is early access. Even if the tech tree feels mostly complete, it could be expanded upon. There could be other pressures in the game, from raids being more developed to the actual politics of the place. Think of systems like having to win elections in Tropico, or having a council of advisors that you have to keep happy in Crusader Kings. There are so many choices that could be made down the line to expand on what's already here, and this game feels close to feature complete. This, taken with the setup that we've already talked about a couple of times, a feudal system, it feels ripe with opportunities to expand out what this game can do. And even if they don't go this way, the scaffolding that's created here to build is so exciting, with so much room to add more. So that leaves me deep in the mid-game currently, meaning that I have a lot of the essentials that people need covered, but I'm spending more time getting all my buildings upgraded, making it more of a town instead of just a place people inhabit in wooden shacks. And this all provides different challenges to just trying to expand basic production and covering basic needs. It means I have to meet more complicated wants and desires of the people. I've created the outline of my sculpture, now my time is spent on the detail work, and this is their own set of challenges. But seeing my village expand over time, spill out across the world, has been a great pleasure for me, and one I actually don't plan on stopping for a little bit, so you might get some more videos, you might not, but you might. Thank you for enjoying this small discussion of this game. My name's been Billy. Peace.